But the thing about this is we know who got cut from our team, but the kind of cool thing is that all around the league, this same thing is happening. So, Ab, you sent us the list of all around the NFL, some of the teams that have cut their players and whatnot. Should we be looking elsewhere? Should we? I mean, we talked about linebackers. I know Darian Beavers is one of the guys that we've looked at in the past that's around now. He's been cut. James Robinson, he was with the Giants, he formerly with the Jaguars a couple years ago. He was cut. I mean, we're solid at running back, but what are your thoughts? Where should we look? Should we go elsewhere? Will Ab?
Um, Will, you go real quick? My daughter's right here.
Yeah, I can take this. Yeah, so there are a couple players that caught my eye. There are a couple positions that caught my eye. I think I heard something at the end of this afternoon that was really interesting. And it's a little bit of it's twofold. It's do you want to sign somebody else's players and bring them onto your squad? Or do you want to sign guys to your practice squad that you've already just spent 30 days with learning your system? And is that a better use of your time versus bringing in someone who now has to learn a whole new scheme here? So it'll be kind of interesting. But the other thing I thought of is I can list some names of folks I would think would be an upgrade over either who we have on the roster or who we have on the practice squad. But you got to also look at this from a player's perspective of like, do they want to come here and be our fourth tackle or be our fourth tight end or our fourth or fifth linebacker? Like you guys said, I mean, there's three linebackers that I had an interest in. We all love Jabril Cox coming out of Michigan State that Dallas picked up. We all like Darian Beavers that the Giants picked up. Now he got hurt. And then Sean, you and I got so furious when Brandon Smith got picked by the Panthers in the fourth round and we picked Percy Butler. But are they going to want to come to Washington when we devalue the linebackers? So I want to take that standpoint too of like, yeah, I can name here's a couple guys that would make our roster better, but they may look at that or their agent saying like, you're not going to see the field. Just go back to the team you were with, Yeah. So I'll go from there. There's a couple other names I got, but I want to give you all a chance too.
And that's a great point. That's a great point because, and Ab, come back to you. Nathan says right here, Jalen Smith. We all know the talent. We know how good he is. But to Will's point, do they want to come to Washington? If they spent X amount of time maybe in Dallas or maybe in New York or maybe elsewhere learning that culture, do they want to come here and try to learn on the fly before game one?
So I kind of disagree with you, Will, right here. Because to me, if you get cut from a team, like you're trying to just jump into the next thing smoking. You're trying to get that paycheck. Like you're trying to get in there, whether you fit or not. And because to me, if the way I'm thinking, that's what you're looking for. It's to just jump into something and then hopefully play, because essentially that would be your contract year. And so you're trying to play. So you can't do that from the couch.
No.
So like literally you're trying to jump on a something. And nobody's going, like, Washington's going to pick you up because they think you're going to fit. As far as linebacker, like I do agree with you there. It's very devalued here. And honestly, it's so hard to be like, I'm a linebacker, I'm going to jump up to this team, and you guys want to put me in, like, I'm splitting my time with like 5 other guys. And that's going to be hard. It's going to be very hard to sit there and want to do that. So I'm kind of split, but it's very me. I really just want one of these other linebackers to come on our team. I really do. Like, screw everything else. I just want one of them to come. Nathan, we've been talking about Jalen Smith for like 3 years since he got released from Dallas. So I don't think that's going to happen. Yeah. Like, Ron has had his chance to pick him up, and it's not going to happen here.
Yeah. And one of the things we say every year is that, we kind of have a kind of vision of how things are going to go. And then we come to days like this and we're like, well, guess we had no clue what was going on because they are going somewhere completely different. So
Right.
even to your point of us thinking like, oh, this linebacker, this guy, they're probably not even looking at linebacker. You know what I mean? And so Will, I'll come back to you. You said you had a couple other names. I mean, I think more so we got to think what position. Now, linebacker obviously is a glaring hole. Potentially, secondary maybe. We don't need wide receiver. O line. What are your thoughts, Will?
I do have a wide receiver, and it was one of the more shocking cuts of the day. The Bengals cut a guy. I didn't know this guy, so I got educated today by the name of Trent Taylor. And he was a kick returner for the 49ers. And he had like 5 or 6 kick returns or punt returns for more than 20 yards. So so we're talking about our wide receiver 6 and 7, and we got Dax Milne and Mitchell Tinsley. And Milne's supposed to be out there, catching punts, and he made it because he's a pretty decent route runner and he's sure-handed at punt returns. He's not flashy, but he doesn't really drop the ball. But here's someone who can do it. Here's someone who's done it. So I almost wondered, like, would we be a destination where, like, oh, I can play receiver, I can also kick return, that he may be someone that's worth going after for the chance to be that position for us. There were other 2 tight ends that I thought about. One, Cincinnati cut. His name is Devin Asiasi. He was originally drafted by the Patriots. Apparently, we were very high on him in that draft. The Patriots, I think they picked him in the 2nd round, kind of surprised people how early they got him. But Ron and company liked him in the draft. So that, we'll see if he's available, if they go after him. The other one is another tight end. He's not flashy, doesn't impress me. But if Logan's going to miss some time, this guy is a veteran who I'd certainly like out there more than Curtis Hodges. And his name is Nick Vannett. He was cut by the Texans. He's played in Seattle. He's played in Houston. He's bounced around a little bit. He's nothing spectacular, but he can block. He can catch a little bit. He can play the position as a professional, probably a little bit better than Curtis Hodges. So I'd be curious just to kind of see in the next couple of days. I'm really kind of watching what's going on in that tight end room and what we're doing, what the status is of Logan and if he can go or not, and if we need to go get someone just in case.
Yeah. Ad, what are your thoughts, man? Do you have anybody else that you've taken a look at? Mute.
Okay. So I don't know if you guys saw this, but the Vikings released N'Keal Harry, former 1st-round pick from the Patriots.
From Arizona State, yeah.
Dude's huge.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
I don't know how big Tinsley is. He's like 6 feet, maybe. But we need a big wide receiver. Like me, like why not fire out for him?
It's a big body. Something we don't have.
Yeah. We definitely don't need it because one of the things that we had talked about potentially was, are we going to have to pull a Cole Turner and make him kind of a wide receiver because of his size or something like that? But with Logan not, being kind of questionable, that's not going to be feasible. We're not going to be able to do that. We need to just go get. I've seen a bunch of guys. I think Miami cut Tyler Croft. Some guys that could come in, but again, you still got to learn your system. They still got to, how do they like in this area? Any other names that have gotten you guys' attention? Just kind of looking through and scrolling through here. But I think, honestly, the point that was made earlier about, you've been in-house with this team. It's different. This is where I think it's different from the cuts every week as opposed to the one main cut. If you get cut that first week by chance, you're not in this one organization for 30 days all this time. Because the thing is, when you are in that organization, now you're starting to learn that culture as if you're on the team. Your expectation is to make the team. So I need to learn everything in Washington. Now all of a sudden I got to deprogram and then go somewhere else. Some of the vets could probably do that a little easier than the rookies, because the rookies is like, well, shoot, I just learned this playbook. Now I got to go this way and learn this one. So it's going to be interesting. And again, we don't know if these guys are if these coaches are trying, that they're saying, oh, we're just cutting to make this as a 53 just to get through this day, to then go to the next day and bring back some of the guys that we cut.
Mm-hmm.
So it's gonna be quite a.
So what do you guys think of Trent Scott, offensive line?
It's funny you said that because I talked about him last week as one of my extra guys, but other than that, I didn't know much more about him. I was he was one of the very last guys. He was the guy that I left off, but he was like if I had 10, it was 11. And my 10th was Braden Daniels. So in that case, I kind of understand, but I can't tell you any of his attributes. I can't tell you, how good he is or not. I just can tell you he's a body that was needed.
Right. Yeah, I didn't say this name earlier because I had to go look up Trent Scott, being fully transparent, because I saw one of our old linemen, Jaron Christian, got cut by the Dolphins. And I thought, all right, well, this guy wasn't very good, but I mean, he's played in the league. And if we need a fourth tackle, a second backup, because Lucas is the swing guy. I was like, well, maybe he could be something. So I actually looked up Trent Scott and didn't realize that he's played in the league like 4 or 6 years already. He's played in many games before, including with Pittsburgh last year. So I was like, all right, well, this guy has more experience than I realized. So then I'm like, all right, I mean, I guess he'll work as a fourth tackle. He doesn't wow me or nothing, but I was like, all right, well, I guess he's kind of what you would want to have in a backup player.
backup. Yeah.
It makes sense.
Yeah. That's, I mean,
I knew nothing about him though this offseason. I thought he was a rookie. That's how,
nothing.
I just really didn't take a deep dive into all those backups.
Yeah.
To me, I was like, I would think he would be the last one on the offensive line. Like, just like you were saying, Sean, like he was the last guy put on here. Yeah. I actually would have cut him myself. And then I wouldn't be surprised if they tried to, how do I say? Try to find someone better than him. Yeah, easily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun.
Let's go. The Washington Commanders. There it is.